Ritchie Blackmore is a name that honestly every serious rock guitarist knows. He's a true enigma, a virtuoso whose fiery technique and classical sensibilities, forever changed the landscape of hard rock and heavy metal. Born in Weston-super-Mare, England on April 14, 1945, Richard Hugh Blackmore was given his first guitar at the age of 11. His father made it clear, either he took lessons seriously or he'd lose the instrument. This early discipline instilled a formidable work ethic that would define his entire career. He began with classical guitar lessons, which laid the foundation for the complex melodic structures that would later become his trademark, setting him apart from the purely blues-based players of his generation. His early career was a whirlwind of session work in the 1960s, playing for producer Joe Meek and backing a host of pop artists. This vision culminated in the formation of Deep Purple in 1968, the band that would make him a global icon and a guitar hero for the ages. With Deep Purple, Blackmore unleashed a torrent of creativity that produced some of the most iconic albums in rock history. He was known for his dark attire and serious demeanor, earning him the nickname the Man in Black. This persona was not just an act, it was a reflection of his intense dedication to his art, a commitment that tolerated no compromises. Let's start with the riff that even people who don't know anything about guitar know. Smoke on the Water. It's the stairway to heaven of guitar riffs, taught to every beginner. The song is from Deep Purple's 1972 masterpiece, Machine Head. The main riff is deceptively simple, built on a series of parallel fourths, which gives it that powerful, open and resonant quality. The song is in the key of G minor, and its tempo is a steady, driving rock groove at around 114 beats per minute. The guitar solo is where Blackmore's blues and classical influences really merge. While the song is in G minor, the solo is played primarily using the G minor pentatonic and G blues scales. This is a very common approach in rock music, but Blackmore's phrasing and note choices are what make it special. For the recording of Smoke on the Water, Blackmore's setup was iconic and surprisingly straightforward. He famously used his 1968 Fender Stratocaster, the guitar that would become synonymous with his sound. Black Knight is another Deep Purple cornerstone released as a single in 1970. It's a song that perfectly captures the band's raw, high-energy approach from the Deep Purple and rock era. The main riff is a driving, blues-based figure in the key of G minor, similar to Smoke on the Water, but played with a much more aggressive and urgent feel. The tempo is faster, clocking in at approximately 134 beats per minute. This up-tempo shuffle gives the song its relentless energy and makes it an absolute force of nature. The riff itself is a masterclass in rhythmic precision and attitude. The gear used on Black Knight was very similar to his later setup, establishing the foundation of his classic tone. He was using a Fender Stratocaster, likely a late 60s model, which was his main instrument during this period. This guitar was fed into his modified Marshall Major 200-watt amp head. A key component to his sound at this time was a Hornby Skew's treble booster. This pedal would slam the front end of the Marshall, pushing the tubes into heavy saturation and providing the screaming high end and sustain needed for his solos. When Blackmore left Deep Purple and formed Rainbow, his songwriting took a distinctive turn towards epic, classically inspired themes. Kill the King, from the 1978 album Long Live Rock and Roll, is arguably the pinnacle of this style and a foundational text for power metal. The song is a blistering showcase of speed and precision, set in the key of G minor. The tempo is furiously fast for its time, racing along at about 165 beats per minute. This relentless pace, combined with the galloping rhythm, creates an atmosphere of urgency and high drama. The guitar solo in Kill the King is a breathtaking display of technical virtuosity and melodic invention. Blackmore's classical training comes to the forefront here. The solo is largely based on the G harmonic minor scale, which gives it that distinct neoclassical dark and exotic flavor. During his time in Rainbow, Blackmore's gear evolved slightly to achieve an even more refined and articulate sound. He was still primarily using his Fender Stratocasters, but by this point, he had begun scalloping the fretboards of his guitars. Jumping forward several decades, we see a completely different side of Ritchie Blackmore's musicality with his project Blackmore's Night. The song Nature's Light, the title track from their 2021 album, is a world away from the high-voltage rock of Deep Purple and Rainbow, yet it is unmistakably Blackmore. The song is a beautiful melodic folk rock piece rooted in the key of a minor. Its tempo is a gentle and flowing 120 beats per minute, creating a relaxed pastoral atmosphere. This track demonstrates that Blackmore's songwriting prowess is not dependent on volume or distortion. The guitar work in Nature's Light is subtle, intricate, and deeply melodic. Instead of a screaming electric solo, we get beautifully crafted acoustic and clean electric guitar lines. The solos and instrumental passages are played using the A natural minor scale, also known as the Aeolian mode. Nature's Light shows us that the core of the Blackmore style is not the gear or the genre, but the musical mind behind it. His strong sense of melody, his use of modal scales, and his ability to create a powerful atmosphere are present in all of his work. So how can you incorporate some of Ritchie Blackmore's magic into your own songwriting? Let's break down the key elements. For riffs and song structures, the minor key is your home base. Keys like G minor, A minor, and E minor are perfect starting points. Build your riffs using power chords and, most importantly, diatonic fourths, like in Smoke on the Water. This creates a powerful open sound that avoids the typical blues rock cliches. For tempos, think dynamic. A mid-tempo stomp around 110 to 120 beats per minute is great for heavy, groovy riffs. When it comes to solos, you need to think modally. The minor pentatonic and blues scales are your foundation for that classic 70s rock feel, as heard in Black Knight. But to truly capture his unique flavor, you must embrace the harmonic minor and Dorian modes. To get the authentic sound, the gear is important, but the combination is key. You'll want a Fender Stratocaster, preferably one with a maple fretboard for that bright, snappy attack. The amplifier is the other half of the equation. A large, non-master volume tube amp like a Marshall Major or a Plexi is ideal. Finally, let's talk about lyrical themes. Blackmore's music often evokes a sense of drama, fantasy, and mystery. For the hard rock style, think about themes of rebellion, outlaws, fast cars, and rock and roll itself. For the rainbow style, delve into fantasy worlds of castles, kings, wizards, and ancient battles. For the Blackmore's night style, explore themes of nature, history, romance, and the changing of the seasons. The lyrics should match the mood of the music, creating a cohesive and immersive world for the listener. What makes Ritchie Blackmore's playing so distinct and memorable? It's a combination of several key factors. First is his tone. That searing, articulate, and powerful sound from his Stratocaster and Marshall stack is instantly recognizable. Second is his incredible technique, a fusion of raw, bluesy aggression and classically trained precision. Blackmore himself was a product of his influences, and he drew from a wide well of inspiration. His early rock and roll heroes included players like Scotty Moore and James Burton. He also had immense respect for British guitarists like Jeff Beck and Eric Clapton. His impact on subsequent generations of guitarists is simply monumental. He is the principal architect of neoclassical metal. Without Ritchie Blackmore, there would be no Yngwie Malmsteen, who took Blackmore's use of harmonic minor and arpeggios to an entirely new level. Ritchie Blackmore's journey is a powerful lesson in artistic integrity. He has always followed his own muse, whether it led him to the top of the rock charts or to the quiet stages of Renaissance fairs. He proved that a guitarist could be a composer, an orchestrator, and a visionary. His body of work with Deep Purple, Rainbow, and Blackmore's Night remains a treasure trove of inspiration for any musician. So I encourage you to dig deep into his catalog, study his techniques, and most importantly, use his example as a catalyst to find your own unique voice. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the music you love.